Hey, what's going on, Z Nation? Zaid here, ZSPN. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about LeBron James's influence to potentially have Chris Paul to be traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. This rumored report just came in maybe yesterday, and I made a video about this morning, but I want to give you guys my thoughts and my opinions about the idea of potentially having the once used to be Chris Paul coming to the Los Angeles Lakers again. So I just want to give you guys my thoughts and my opinions about it. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So guys, in this report, it's just a rumored report. It's not being reported whatsoever of how big of a report it will be when it comes to LeBron James's influence to have Chris Paul being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. But it comes from a source from the Eastern Conference NBA executive saying that LeBron James, if he has the power to have the influence of the Lakers to potentially pull off a trade with Chris Paul, he can basically do it. And we always seen that when it came to LeBron James's influence throughout his career of bringing certain players to play with him. We've seen that with the Cleveland Cavaliers with Kevin Love. We've also seen that when he was with the Miami Heat by bringing players to surround him with the likes of Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. So you can just tell that LeBron James' influence, even with the Los Angeles Lakers, having the influence of bringing Anthony Davis, and then bringing some pieces to play with him around him with Anthony Davis. And there's always been that notion that LeBron James's influence of having trades or bringing certain players on board to a certain team has always been that mindset. Has always been that mindset when it comes to everyone's mind of what is LeBron's thinking when it comes to free agency and how to make a team better. And with having that executive speaking that sort of notion is kind of realistic, if you will. I mean, having somebody being traded so they can obviously improve your team has always been that way. I mean, maybe it's not just always LeBron James. It could be some other superstar in certain teams that have that sort of influence. So with this report, it comes from Bleacher report with this type of report, which they're pretty credible. I mean, they have sources of their own, and they bring out these certain scenarios. And this is not a done deal. Reported that maybe the Lakers will possibly pull it off. I mean, this is just a rumored report, and the idea of having Chris Paul come to the Los Angeles Lakers, it's something that I am not ruling out. It could be a possibility, but there is some problems with this particular trade if it does happen. For one thing, the salary. The salary of Chris Paul, CP3, is big. I read a report, if you guys should check my video before this one, I made a video about Chris Paul and the possibility of him coming to the Los Angeles Lakers and with LeBron's influence. And, I believe last time I checked, he has 2 years remaining left on his contract, and he's going to be making up to $82 million in 2 years remaining of his contract. Now, knowing the Lakers, I don't think they have the salary to bring a guy like Chris Paul and the assets, if you will, because, by looking at what the Lakers have in front of them, they have they have Danny Green, they have Kyle Kuzma, and they have the first round pick and a couple of players like Quinn Cook that could be a possibility that they can pull off a trade, but it has to do with the salary. That's all I'm really questioning when it comes to the Lakers' motive of if they do want to trade for Chris Paul. And we can also drop the whole report that having Rajon Rondo return, because what better upgrade to Rajon Rondo than Chris Paul. We saw how he played in with the OKC Thunder. He was still playing at a higher level, especially in the playoffs. The way that they were playing against the Houston Rockets was just sensational in the playoffs, and they took that particular team to I believe Game 6 or Game 7, somewhere around there. So Chris Paul's influence when it comes to bringing his greatness into fruition in any certain team that he's on is just sensational, especially his passing ability and his floor general-esque type of guy. He has a bit of a similarity to Rajon Rondo, but unlike Rajon Rondo, Chris Paul, when it comes to when the game is on the line, he will basically deliver. And it's not like Rajon Rondo doesn't do the same thing, but I believe Chris Paul does it a bit better when it comes to scoring wise. And this is the same guy who averages around 18 to 20 points a game. I mean, this is and averages around 12 assists a night. So this is Chris Paul we're talking about, and it doesn't look like that he is declining anytime soon. That's why I believe he still has 2, maybe 3 years left in him to make a big influence on a certain team. And when it's all said and done, I mean, having Chris Paul being mentioned with the Lakers again, it kind of sounds pretty good to me. I mean, with the last time Chris Paul was in the conversation to be traded to the Los Angeles Lakers was back in 2011, with the whole vetoed and rest his soul, David Stern. It was at that moment it was just very sad day for Laker fans, because it just basically went downhill after that because of that vetoed, and we weren't the same since then. And but when it's all said and done, if coming from a fan perspective, if the Lakers have an opportunity to trade for Chris Paul, I will welcome the idea, because we will basically have a big three in the Los Angeles Lakers with Anthony Davis, with LeBron James, and Chris Paul. And the greatness of those three players on the same court is just is going to be great when it comes to those particular players. Now, some people are going to say because of Chris Paul's age, and he might get some father time might be creeping up on him when it comes to God forbid injuries might occur. But when it comes to that mindset of going into a season, if Chris Paul is going to be playing alongside his friend, his brother, and in LeBron James, it will just be a great opportunity for him to also achieve a potential championship. Because the only thing that's missing from a guy like Chris Paul, who is a Hall of Fame caliber guy, that's basically top 3, top 5 best point guard in NBA history. The possibilities of him, adding on another championship to his resume is just going to be on top of the roof. I mean, really. I mean, that's all what he's really missing when it comes to his legacy, and just him playing alongside with his buddy in LeBron James, and teaming up with Anthony Davis would be a great fit for him. I mean, this is obviously a great fit for him, for a guy who is aging and getting up there in age. And it's just like, I personally, when it comes to his perspective, it would just fit very well for him. But like I said, I go back to the whole salary cap. It's just he's making in 2 years $82 million. and the Lakers are going to be paying Anthony Davis a huge amount of money. That's going to be put into an effect once he re-signs with the Los Angeles Lakers. And it still remains to be seen about the potential other players that the Lakers might bring back. I mean, you never know. They are looking for a payday as well. And it still remains to be seen of how the mentality of where the Lakers are going into the offseason when it comes to free agency. Like I mentioned in my last couple of videos ago, when it came down to the Lakers' options, there's a lot in front of them. I mean, they could instead go for someone who is a bit younger than Chris Paul and just go for like somebody who has your point guard-ish combo type of guard in DeMar DeRozan. They could somehow look at Jordan Clarkson, like I said, and there's Jaleel Gallinari. I mean, it's kind of weird I put the phrasing of point guard into this, but it's just I should have never said that, but there's just a lot of options in front of the Lakers that they could go with when it comes to money wise, and just bringing in certain players that could help the Lakers go for a repeat, and it's just that sort of possibility. And I mean, I'm not ruling it out. I mean, Chris Paul is a great player, and I would love to have him on the team. It's just the salary cap is just really making a huge problem when it comes to a trade happening. And asset-wise, it's kind of questionable. I'm not to say that the Lakers can't pull off a trade package for Chris Paul, but it just sort of depends on the money difference of how a trade might go down when it comes to that. So guys, please comment down below, like, subscribe to the channel, share my videos. I really want to know your thoughts and your opinions when it comes to the Chris Paul to the Lakers scenario. I mean, when I first saw that, I mean, I forgot all about it because there's always been that notion that he could potentially be traded to the Bucks and team up with Giannis, or he could have potentially go to or maybe somewhere else, maybe with the Miami Heat, or he could potentially stay with OKC and develop the young players that's on that particular team in the OKC. So that's what I really thought when it came to Chris Paul's opportunity in the off season, still being with the OKC Thunder. But the possibility of him going to the Los Angeles Lakers is not out of the question. But at the same time, it's just a rumor report. I won't be surprised if nothing happens between now and if something does happen for a trade like that. But it's just the Lakers. They have a lot of options in front of them. They could look at any sort of way to improve the team. They could bring back certain pieces like Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard, maybe Rajon Rondo, and look at that type of scenario, bringing those particular players back. Maybe JaVale McGee could potentially come back. There's just a lot of things that the Lakers can go with when it comes to improving the team. But, it's just still remains to be seen about that type of scenario of if a trade does pull off for the Lakers, for any sort of trade, really. I mean, if it's Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Buddy Hield, Zach LaVine. I mean, there's just a lot of positions that the Lakers can go with when it comes to that, but it's still up in the air. And that's the whole greatness when it comes to the free agency in the offseason. I mean, there's just unexpected things could happen when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers and free agency. So just really can't wait for more things to come when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers and free agency wise. And like always, I'll deliver to you guys everything that goes down when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers on this video when it comes to that particular moment. And if you have any thoughts and opinions about Chris Paul or possibly somebody else that could be in the conversation for a potential trade or potential signing in the free agency market and potential players coming back to the Los Angeles Lakers, please, I really want to know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share my videos. I do appreciate every single one of you for showing me the love, support for my channel and all my social media sites. I'll leave the links to my social media sites in the description of this video, so you guys can check out my social media sites. And of course, subscribe to the channel, share my videos, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Go Lakers. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe out there.